Welcome to our first virtual State of the Coast Community College District. I'm President Laura Adrian of Coastline College, and I'm joined today by my fellow presidents, along with Trustee Jim Moreno, the District Vice Chancellors, and Chancellor John Weiss-Fenning. Today's themes are thanks, resilience, and optimism. These are fitting for the moment we are in, especially when we consider that you, our students, faculty, and staff, have accomplished so much in such a short time. To begin, this year, Coastline will celebrate its 45th anniversary. Nationally renowned for innovation, Coastline launched unfettered access to college education to students of all backgrounds in 1976 as a college beyond walls, providing high-quality instruction and support services to students where they live and work in Orange County and beyond. Coastline's long history of innovative education is a reflection of the great work of Coastline's dedicated faculty and staff and is a model for serving students holistically, remotely through distance learning and in person. Today, Coastline continues to pursue innovations motivated by love for students and optimism and hope for the future to advance equity in fulfilling the college's mission of meeting students where they are and helping them succeed. It's now my pleasure to introduce President Tim McGrath of Golden West College.
Thank you, Dr. Adrian, and thank you for the great job that Coastline College has done this last year. For this last year, Golden West College has really centralized all of our efforts around students. What can we do to help them survive this unusual and difficult time? Financial aid has given away a couple $1 million for our students. Our college foundation has given away thousands of dollars in grants. Our staff has given away probably 1,000 Chromebooks and computers to help students succeed in the virtual classroom. We've given away food and supplies for students with food insecurity. Our faculty has created an amazing, creative, and very innovative learning environment for the virtual classroom for our students. Our management and staff have done everything they could to support students as well. At the end of the day, I think this college is much stronger and better prepared to meet our student needs because as a family, we concentrate on what's most important. Dr. Suarez, please tell us about Orange Coast College.
Thank you, Tim. Greetings from Orange Coast College. As I reflect on today's theme for the State of the District Address, gratitude, resilience, compassion, and optimism, I want to express my gratitude for our faculty who transformed our students' on-campus experience to a virtual community of learners by moving over 2,000 classes and support services online. I want to acknowledge the compassion of our classified professionals who work tirelessly to eliminate barriers for students learning online, distributing technology, providing food and housing assistance, and issuing millions of dollars in emergency financial aid, and making over 20,000 calls simply to check in on the well-being of our students. I appreciate the optimism of our campus community, continuing to prepare for the day when we can welcome everyone back on campus, continuing to transform the campus through new educational facilities, a new student union featuring an expanded Veterans Resource Center, a college center featuring culinary arts teaching facilities and labs, a professional mariner training center, and much more. At OCC, we continue to focus our work on creating equitable and inclusive experiences for a community of students and employees. And now, it is my honor to recognize the leadership of our Coast District Board of Trustees and introduce the President of the Board, Jim Moreno.
Thank you, President Suarez, McGrath, and Adrian. I'm Jim Moreno, President of the Board of Trustees. My fellow trustees and I have spent many hours this past year in virtual meetings and events. While these activities kept us connected to the work of the district, we still felt the absence of personal discussion, presentations, and connections. We miss seeing campus activities such as students in classrooms. We miss hearing from faculty and staff in spontaneous conversations. We miss joining with colleges and district leadership for our regular board meetings, groundbreakings, ribbon cuttings to open new buildings. The board also misses award nights, special events, and particularly graduations at each of our campuses, celebrating our students' successes. The reason for precaution is mandatory and very real. Each of us is sacrificing now so that we can all safely gather again soon. Largely through the takeaways from this past year, as Dr. Adrian so clearly stated, are thanks, resilience, and optimism. Thanks to all of those who stepped up to this worldwide public health crisis, set aside the near constant disruptions, and focused on the well-being of our community and students. You are seen and recognized, whether you work in the classroom, financial aid, counseling centers, administration, health facilities, custodial service, or each of our many departments. You know that we are grateful to you. I am also encouraged by the resilience of our faculty, students, and staff. The need to convert thousands of classroom courses to online formats was heroic. Many of our professors and students were challenged to develop whole new ways of teaching and learning. You all succeeded and the effort was very courageous. Finally, I have great optimism for the future, not because of any external factor, but because of the trust in the people who make up the Coast College District. You each know our mission and the dedication of service to our students. With your eyes on the prize, we cannot help but move forward together. I speak for the Board of Trustees when I say be safe, take care of yourselves, your families, and each other. Thank you again, and best wishes in the upcoming academic year.
Thank you to our Presidents and Trustee Moreno. I'm Andrea Serban, Vice Chancellor of Educational Services and Technology. In spite of the challenges of the past year, and in some cases because of these challenges, we have had many successes across the district in instruction, student services, grants, planning, educational technology, partnership development, and institutional research. Over the past year, we collaborated district-wide in a variety of projects in support of the Strong Workforce Program, California Virtual College, Perkins Mental Health, STEM, Criminal Justice, Adult Education, and Dual Enrollment, as well as other programmatic areas. In October 2020, we were the first district in the state to implement the California Virtual College Cross-Enrollment Exchange for all 3 colleges. There has been continuous emphasis on connecting and building partnerships with other educational institutions and employers to strengthen the educational and employment opportunities for our students. District-wide, we have secured and administered close to $39 million in continuing and new grants to support operations and innovations across many instructional and student services programs. We deployed the first online college catalogs for 2021 using the CourseLeaf catalog platform. We worked on expanding credit for prior learning for our students, and this work will continue. We implemented numerous regulatory changes starting in March 2020 in response to the COVID-19 emergency. Among many upcoming projects, we are excited to embark in the implementation of Campus Logic Virtual Advisor, which will be utilized by various student services departments at the 3 colleges. We are also looking forward to starting work on the implementation of the CourseLeaf Curriculum Management module to provide a much better platform for curriculum development for our faculty. I am proud of the teamwork, innovation, and unwavering commitment to the student success that permeate our district. We have a great team. I look forward to a successful year ahead. I'll now hand things over to our Vice Chancellor of Finance and Administrative Services, Andy Dunn.
Thank you, Andrea. Hello, everyone. I'd like to take a few moments and share with you some of the accomplishments of the Administrative Services Division from this past year. Our Risk Services Department has worked very closely with public health officials to understand and communicate the risks surrounding the COVID pandemic. Our IT department has worked to transition faculty, staff, and students alike from a face-to-face to a remote working environment. Our Facilities Department has continued to change the face of our 3 college campuses as we move through the Measure M Bond program. And lastly, our Fiscal Services Department was able to facilitate an external audit free of findings, adjustments, and has once again landed Coast as a low-risk auditee. Thank you. I'd like to introduce to you now Dr. Marco Baeza, our Vice Chancellor of Human Resources.
Thank you, Andy. Dear Coast Community College faculty and staff, as we reflect, 2020 has uniquely tested our ability to adapt and to work together. It has also taught us a valuable lesson, the lesson of working collaboratively to plan for the future. Since the start of the pandemic, Coast Community College's overarching goals have been to keep our students safe as well as our employees, but most importantly to sustain our mission of serving our students. As we look to plan for the future, the plan is to work collaboratively with the bargaining units to develop a reopening plan for the fall. The reopening plan will build on lessons learned. We will continue to use the health guidance, and we will continue to plan to stay the course and sustain what has worked well. Most importantly, we will maintain a commitment to the safety of our students and our employees based on health guidelines. But in closing, on behalf of the Coast Community College District, I want to thank you for your proven dedication to the mission of the Coast Community College, the mission of supporting our students and our community. With that said, I am honored to recognize our final speaker for today's program, Chancellor John Weiss-Fenning.
Thank you, Marco, and to Trustee Moreno and the presidents and the vice chancellors, and my thanks to everyone who joined for this virtual State of the District. These yearly speeches give cause to reflect and take in many sources of inspiration. Among those inspiring me today is Rita Pearson, a 40-year K-12 teacher featured in the weekly news brief during Black History Month. In some ways, Rita's story was the least known of the African American educators we honored. Yet in listening to her TED Talk, I found her words to be the most compelling for the moment we are in now. The point she drove home was that human connection is essential for learning. As our faculty well know, students do not learn from those they do not like or from those they feel do not care for them. Think of that observation in the context of today's challenges. Making a human connection is the fundamental challenge we've had to overcome through the pandemic. The questions we face are not about how we share information. That's relatively easy. Email, websites, video, and textbooks are all rather efficient means of information transfer. But we know this is not enough. Human beings learn from other human beings. We rely on each other to give shape and meaning to the chaos of random facts. What we accomplish beyond ourselves requires a connection with others, and the more meaningful that connection, the more we can accomplish. And so I give thanks to every person in this district who built new connections and strengthened existing connections despite great distances and greater odds, who made students feel welcomed and important, who made their colleagues feel seen and recognized. I see your passion and compassion. I thank you for living the mission of education. Our capacity for human connection has been tested, and we have proven ourselves equal to the task. Trustee Moreno described moving thousands of classes online as a heroic effort. That's certainly true. Our faculty worked to beat the clock so classes could be online. Both faculty and staff went above and beyond to ensure continued connection with students so that learning would continue, and it did. That effort was followed by daily acts of resilience. Each new turn brought new, very human challenges to solve. Counseling, health centers, and public safety responded to an unprecedented demand for their services and expertise while working to keep everyone well. Student services, often the first and last contact of a student's experience, leaned in with ever greater levels of engagement supported by our grant writers. Financial aid offices were called upon to distribute tens of millions more in student aid and emergency relief than ever before in our district's history, supported by the fundraising of our foundations. Human resources, both at the district and the colleges, worked with bargaining and stakeholder groups to ensure pay and benefits, diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, and professional development continued with as little disruption as possible, even while managing multiple restructuring proposals as a result of the retirement incentive and hiring freeze. Our fiscal teams provided strong management of federal, state, and local funds, resulting in a clean audit from the independent evaluators. Facilities management continued to orchestrate the physical transformation of our colleges through the Measure and Bond program, as our janitorial, maintenance, and grounds teams kept existing facilities in safe working order. And technology services ensured our lifelines, the classrooms, offices, and meeting spaces of our virtual world functioned while under extraordinary strain. I hope we've all gained new appreciation for the role of technology and for the experts who guide the development of technology in the district. Indeed, we've all learned a great deal about each other and our respective responsibilities as we've developed unprecedented solutions to unprecedented challenges. To close the retrospective of the challenging year behind us, it is appropriate to mourn those we've lost. Too many will not be joining us in the post-pandemic recovery. Their absence is deeply felt by colleagues, friends, family, and all of us who shared a human connection. Each person, each connection influences us in a different way. While nothing we can say or do will ease the loss, we now carry on their memory and legacy. What must we do with the legacy we carry? As Chancellor, I have some thoughts, less prescriptive and more areas for focus. These also have the benefit of aligning with work I know to be ongoing at the colleges and district and our priorities for California leadership. We will empower our staff to strengthen the response to students' mental well-being, physical health, food security, and housing access, while pursuing an even more student-focused and service-minded approach to financial aid. We will empower our faculty to establish new programs aligned with emerging student interests as our outreach, marketing, and community engagement teams communicate the myriad benefits of attending our colleges. We will further empower our faculty to establish new programs benefiting non-traditional students alongside promotion of career technical education, internships, and apprenticeships. And we will all continue to seek out and implement best practices to close equity gaps in tandem with work to advance representation and meaningful inclusion among our faculty and staff ranks. My appreciation again for those who contributed to early discussions on the HEADS Diversity and Equity Climate Survey. Asking the right questions is important. What we do with your answers will determine how we continue down the path of greater openness and inclusivity. Nothing proposed today is simple. Each priority references deep questions of academics, student services, and operations. In some cases, there are no clear examples to follow, either at the state or national level. The fact that these are serious challenges should be encouragement. We are the ones chosen for this moment. It is for all of us, faculty, classified, confidential staff, and managers, to assemble the pieces to build the human connections that enable the curricular and policy choices to work. This work will require us to apply what we have learned of the roles and responsibilities, skills and talents of others, of those who have navigated the crisis of the past year as our colleagues. In her talk, Rita Pearson referred to educators as those born to make a difference. I believe that applies to each of us in the Coast Community College District. Gone are the illusions that we succeed on our own. The challenges we face are too great for any one person to take on single-handedly. If we are born to make a difference, we will do so together. The state of the district is strong because your connections, our connections, sustain its legacy and shape its future. Thank you, and be well.